Welcome to the program. Tonight, cracks are beginning to show within the governing NDC as an early battle over who leads the party after President Mahama gathers momentum. What began behind closed doors is now spilling into public view, with National Chairman Johnson Asiedu-Nketia and Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu exchanging pointed remarks amid signs of rival camps taking shape. Now, the tensions come despite warnings from the presidency that premature succession politics could distract government and undermine party unity. Is the facing NDC its first major internal test since returning to power, and who really holds sway within the party, the chairman or the president? There's more on the following report.
There is growing scrutiny over what appears to be an emerging power struggle within the NDC. National Chairman Johnson Asiedu-Nketia reignited debates within the party after revealing he pushed through the 2024 parliamentary leadership reshuffle despite opposition from President John Dramani Mahama. The changes led to the removal of Haruna Iddrisu as majority leader.
Then new things were emerging, and I said that we have to change the forward line of parliament. Otherwise, it will be difficult for us to win elections. President Mahama disagreed with me, but I said that, look, you have elected me as chairman of this party. I am the coach of the party going into the election. So let me make the changes that will win us the election. When we win, we all enjoy together. Since I made that change, I say my brother Haruna sit somewhere. The other guy, Muntaka, who also sits somewhere. And people started thinking that somebody who has been my friend for more than 20 years has certainly become my enemy. I said, how can Haruna become my enemy?
The comments have drawn a response from Haruna Iddrisu, who described the chairman's separate thank you tour as a curtain raiser during President John Mahama's tour of the Savannah region.
An enduring legacy was to have this Boale College of Education established in this area. And I recall when President came for his thank you tour, not the other thank you tour, the proper thank you tour of President Mahama, proper thank you tour of President Mahama, as President Flag Bearer. What cannot be said, we can say the proper thank you of President Mahama, not the curtain raiser one.
Asiedu-Nketia has, however, dismissed suggestions of any tension between himself and Haruna Iddrisu. He maintains he played a key role in the appointment of Haruna Iddrisu and other leading figures in the current administration.
After winning, I told President Mahama that we cannot ignore Muntaka and Haruna in the setting up of our government. So they need to be given big position. President Mahama agreed, and they gave them big position. And we are working together. So if you are in Tamale here, and you are forming groups, Haruna group, Asiedu-Nketia group, and so on, it is not our case. It is your case in Tamale here. It's not us.
However, political scientist Amache Boatin believes the NDC has the structures to manage internal disagreements and maintain party unity.
Decision the party had to take. They did take that decision. And if you come to me, I'll say that the people who became affected, Honorable Muntaka and then Haruna, they took it, they took it very, very well, maturely played along with it, contributed their quota, the party eventually wins. So at this time, it becomes a win-win for all of them. And you don't expect anyone to revisit it the way it has been done. It's most unfortunate.
Well, let's explore this further. Joining us now is CDD fellow John Osai Kwapom. We appreciate your time here on JoyNews Prime. Now, we're beginning to see succession politics play out within the governing NDC. Does this have the potential to distract government from governance and their priorities as we speak?
Thank you very much. It does have the potential. I hope it doesn't get to that. Right? I mean, surely everyone knew that at some point there will be conversations about who is going to succeed President John Mahama. But I think that the time for that conversation will come. They are only into the first half of the second year of the president's term. And as Dr. Callistus Mahama rightly stated in the piece that he wrote in the Daily Graphic, he says, look, the time for us to have that conversation will come. The time to decide who gets to succeed the president will come. For now, what really matters is staying focused, governing, delivering on the things that you promised the Ghanaian people that brought you into power. And ultimately, that is what Ghanaians are going to judge you based on. So again, I recognize that should this eat up, some of these internal battles are inevitable. I mean, they do happen in internal party primaries. I just hope that it doesn't get to a point where, because of the figures involved, that it takes away attention from focusing on the things that matter for now, which is delivering on the key policies and programs that were promised to the Ghanaian.
And I'm just wondering, with barely 2 years into President John Mahama's final term, should the NDC begin setting clearer ground rules, especially around the secession conversation, to prevent internal rivalry from destabilizing government?
I mean, that is for the party to decide. I just hope that at some point, I'm not sure if 2026 is the year where you want to put all of those rules, guidelines in place in terms of we are looking forward to 2028 and therefore this is how we are going to go about electing the next person who succeeds President John Mahama. Perhaps wait, watch and see how all of this plays out. But you don't want to be sending the message that what really matters in the first half of 2026 is the politics, the upcoming political competition, and how you can keep political power. Those things are not irrelevant. They are. But for now, you want to show that governing is what is your priority until that appropriate time comes when you can decide how the flag bearer race is going to be done.
Thank you so much, Doc, for your time here on JoyNews Prime. Away from that.
Now, a private citizen, Emmanuel Amekplenu, has petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to immediately commence a full-scale investigation into the circumstances surrounding the takeover of the Damang Mine by engineers and planners. Now, according to him, there are serious conflict of interest concerns surrounding the takeover, given the relationship between President John Dramani Mahama and his brother, Ibrahim Mahama. Well, for more on this, let's engage the petitioner, Emmanuel Senyo. For more on this, Emmanuel, good evening. Many thanks for your time. What specifically triggered your decision to petition CHRAJ over the Damang Mine takeover?
Well, thank you very much. I don't know if you can see my face clearly because of where I am.
We can hear you loud and clear. Please proceed and make your point.
Okay. So, thank you very much. Good evening to you and good evening to your cherished viewers. Indeed, the petition is premised not on the usual rhetorics of politics that we've had over the years. It is beyond that. This has to do with issues of national interest, issues of accountability and transparency. On that background, let me say again that it is also grounded, the petition is grounded on Article 284 of the 1992 Constitution, which prohibits the public officers from placing themselves in situations where personal or family interest conflict with official duties. It is on that remit, though I do not want to say that it is an illegal act, but I also see that the appearance of impropriety and conflict of interest matters very importantly.
Right.
The underlying word here is conflict of interest.
Right. So are you alleging direct wrongdoing on the part of the president and his brother, or are you seeking transparency and accountability in this regard? I will be a judge in my own court to say that I am concluding by saying that the president is doing something wrong. However, what I seek for is transparency and accountability. Having read Article 284, where it clearly states
what public officers are supposed to do, and knowing very well that there have been central allegations concerning the president's brother, Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, who is the beneficiary of the Damang Mine takeover. I feel that it is very important that the president, being the one who chairs cabinet, and then who also, together with his team of members who sit at cabinet, approve the transaction, it is only proper for us to look into the issues very well to be able to distinguish whether indeed the president sat in that meeting, and if he sat in that meeting, could that not be seen as conflict of interest?
Well, you do recall that the president actually recused himself, and so this point you're making.
I believe strongly that it was somewhere last week that we were informed by the government spokesperson that the president recused himself. You and I know that this whole issue of the president recused himself came after a month or barely few weeks after the takeover. So one would have asked that in the interest of public accountability and transparency, we should have been kept in the known as a country that indeed, at the very moment when this process commenced, when the bill or the takeover agreement was taken to cabinet meeting, we should have been informed at that very moment, not when the fanfare, the jabbery, everything has been done. Then I cannot tell. It is so laughable. You cannot. You can, in one way or the other, say that you are concluding by saying that was it an afterthought? What led to the government spokesperson now coming to tell us after a month by telling us that the president was the one blocking his brother's takeover of the Damang Mine? Right. The president. No, it has not added up.
And finally, before I let you go, what outcome are you expecting from CHRAJ? Briefly.
Well, the outcomes are very, very explicit, and I think that they are in the petition that I presented. One of the foremost thing that I seek to get has to do with the fact that there is the need for CHRAJ to actually commence a full-scale investigation into the circumstances surrounding the approval and the takeover process.
Right. Thank you so much for time. For lack of time, Mr. McLean would have to bring our conversation to an end here, and he's a petitioner. Many thanks for your time, sir.
Well, away from that, St. Ghana is raising alarm over delays in the distribution of agricultural inputs under the government's Feed Ghana program, warning that the situation could disrupt this year's planting season and threaten food security. The policy and advocacy organization says the rains already setting in across parts of the country are causing many farmers to be worried, especially because they're yet to receive essential inputs such as feeds, fertilizers, and other farming supplies promised under the program. Well, let's explore this further. Join me now is Deputy Country Director for St. Ghana, Alhaji Mumuni Mohammed. We appreciate your time here on JoyNews Prime. What is actually triggering this warning from St. Ghana?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. I think that we all do recognize that agriculture plays a very important role in our economy. And for this government, it was one of the topmost on their agenda in terms of, promoting agricultural transformation. And for which reason they came up with the Feed Ghana as one of the interventions to get us there. And so as an organization, over the years, we are interested in how government implements interventions in order that we're able to achieve the objectives for which those interventions have actually been crafted. So in the case of the Feed Ghana program, as you reported, our checks on the ground with farmers, but also the Department of Agric, reveals clearly that there's been delay in terms of support to the farmers. So far, our check with the farmers reveals that they don't have a sense of when they would have access to the fertilizer, but also seed. But then the challenge is that the season is fast approaching, and if government doesn't do anything about that, as you said, we risk having some food security issues. The reality is that it is not just farmers, but the Department of Agri confirming that till date, they still don't have a sense of when they will get the fertilizer. We also check with some MMDC. So we think that government needs to up its game in terms of being proactive and to make sure that the support gets to the farmers as soon as possible. Otherwise, it will get at a time that farmers would not need that. And in this country, we know sometimes our problem is the timeliness of the intervention. And if we miss that, we're likely to give it to farmers who would not actually use it for the season, or even given out to people who would not actually engage in farming. And the potential of recovery would be a problem. And that would be, some financial loss to the state. So we think that apart from the food insecurity challenges, there's the issue of making sure that at least whatever allocations that we've made for this program actually derives the needed benefits.
And having engaged the farmers, did they tell you if indeed government has given them any feedback?
So that is one of the issues that we raised. I think information on the Feed Ghana program information flow is very slow and very limited as well. Most farmers are aware of this, but in terms of the schedule or the timelines in terms of when they expect to have access to these inputs is a challenge. The Agri Department, which is the government institution mandated to lead implementation, doesn't even have a sense. And that is why it's even more serious, because if the Department of Agri that has the mandates, it's not directly or doesn't have the information, it raises the questions about our implementation approach. And so it is not just about implementing the program, but how effective are we in doing that? And if the Department of Agri, that is an arm of the assembly, doesn't seem to have enough information or adequate information about, when to have access to these fertilizer, that for us, we think is a matter of concern, and government has to come very clear, being transparent, so that if there are practical issues, together the stakeholders within the agri sector can help to address that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
President of the Concerned Farmers Association, Nana Wadia Bonso, we appreciate your time here on JoyNews Prime. Are you aware of the Feed Ghana project and what the extent of implementation so far is for farmers?
Yeah, thank you very much, and then good evening to your viewers. We heard of the Feed Ghana initiative when it was launched. We heard it though, the farmer-based organization across which I am their PR, that is the Ghana National Association of Farmers and Fishermen. We have no idea of what the program was and then how the program is going to be done or be implemented. So with the Feed Ghana, we know that it is a program, it's a government program that has come, that it is a very nice program that is going to help farmers, and not even all farmers, but then other individuals, for them also to succeed and then make sure that agriculture is being proactive. But at the end of the day, the Minister of Agriculture, I think, have a problem. I keep on saying that the minister has to be very careful the kind of people that he's working with, and then also go deep into the structures of the ministry very well, because it seems that the ministry are not going in line with the structures that is being put in place for so many years, not on this government, but for the past government. That is what this ministry have been rolling out. This thing started, that was 2000. That is 2001. That is when the structures of MUFA started being deteriorated and then being swayed in a different way that we don't even know the kind of farmers that the Minister of Agriculture deal with. Because all that we know is we have the Ghana National Association of Farmers and Fishermen. So if government has any program that is supposed to do or want to implement it, or the ministry want to do, the ministry has to deal with the FBO. And this FBO will be sending it to all the other FBOs for them also to know that this is the program that is coming, and this is the structures, and this is how the criteria or those that it will benefit. But this is a situation that this ministry for so many years now are dealing within themselves. I mean, they are...
Nana, are you saying that with regards to the Feed Ghana project, as a farmer, you are not engaged?
Yes, I'm telling you the truth, that the ministry as of now, they've blindfolded the minister. They are not telling the minister the truth. So the minister don't even know what is within, because one, we have the Ministry of Transport. If there's any issue concerning transport, it is a GPRTU that they consult. The same thing to the farmers. When there's any other program, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture makes sure that they deal with farmers through Ghana National Association of Farmers and Fishermen. But this is a situation that we don't even know the kind of structures that the ministry is dealing with. And then also, this is not the first time that this ministry has done that. Any government that comes, they try to sabotage the government and trying to make the government unpopular. So we think that there's a foul play somewhere which the minister has to wake up, because at the end of the day, the structures that the ministry is using, implementing things in this country, it is a foul play, and then that is not how they are supposed to do their thing.
Thank you so much for your time here on JoyNews Prime.
Well, to more news tonight, Ghana's new e-visa system is now operational, allowing travelers from around the world to apply for visas entirely online without visiting a Ghanaian embassy or consulate. Now, the initiative forms part of government's broader push to modernize immigration services and ease travel into the country. Launching the platform in Accra, President Mahama said, while some countries are closing their doors to fellow Africans, Ghana is opening hers, welcoming Africans and affirming that they belong here. Here's reports by Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbaba.
And so with that successful demonstration, it is my honor and privilege to declare the e-visa system officially launched.
Officials say the new e-visa portal is designed to eliminate delays and improve both speed and convenience in visa processing, positioning Ghana as open and ready for business, tourism, and investment. Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa says visas will be issued within 48 hours of application, making the process faster and more efficient compared to the traditional system. The portal will cater for both business and tourist visa categories. Non-Africans will pay an amount of $260, but it is free for Africans. The Foreign Affairs Minister says security under the new system is expected to be significantly enhanced through the integration of an advanced passenger information API and passenger name record systems, allowing for improved screening and monitoring of travelers before they enter the country. He also responded to some social media concerns, stressing that there is no existing competing e-visa contract.
So let me emphasize, this morning there's been quite some debate on social media that there was some e-visa contract which we are not respecting and that there could be judgment debt and all of that. Let me allay the fears of the people of Ghana that there is no such existing e-visa contract. Nothing of the sort exists. We've checked through the files. Our director legal is here. Indeed, the Minister of the Interior also wrote to the Attorney General to find out if there was any such contract and to also present to the Attorney General for analysis the machine-readable contract which existed, and that is for visa stickers. And the Attorney General's opinion is that that does not represent an e-visa arrangement.
President Mahama in his speech said that while some countries are expelling fellow Africans and making them feel unwelcome, Ghana proudly welcomes them and affirms this is their home.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, effective today, from this moment, all holders of African passports traveling to Ghana for business or tourism will apply for visas exclusively via the new online e-visa platform, and they will pay no visa fee. And so, for emphasis, all African passport holders will not be required to pay visa fees when they apply online. Applicants will continue to undergo all the necessary vetting and due diligence. While some countries are expelling fellow Africans and making them feel unwelcome, Ghana proudly welcomes them and affirms that this is your home.
Away from that, for decades, the 96-kilometer Sola-Wa Road in the Upper West region has been a daily struggle for commuters. The deplorable stretch has slowed travel, damaged vehicles, and frustrated residents for years. Construction has now resumed, bringing renewed hope to communities along the route. Rafiq Salam reports.
For decades, this road has been more than asphalt. It's been a political promise, a broken link, and a source of daily frustration for thousands. This is the Sola-Wa stretch of the N12, and for the people of the Upper West and Savannah regions, it is the road their livelihoods depend on.
I have been planning this road since 1943, and when it was put in good shape, I mean, we were all enjoying it. But for about 3 years now, regrettably, it has worsened.
The 232-kilometer highway has been split into laws and fixed piece by piece since the Fourth Republic began. Every government has done its part, but it was under President John Adjei Kufuor that the last major push was completed. Since then, the road has deteriorated. The frustration boiled over earlier last month when a concerned youth group in the Upper West region threatened to picket and occupy Dawa Airport if authorities fail to act. Abdul Basit Kombadiana is one of the lead conveners for the concerned youth group.
A 2-week ultimatum should show concrete, verifiable action, not promises, not press statements, but action. If this ultimatum is ignored, the demonstration that will follow will be disruptive, sustained, and impossible to ignore.
Roads and Highways Minister Governor Kwame Abuza pledged action, and work has begun in earnest.
Of course, once he's interested in every road, including any 1-inch road in every corner, he must pay the same level of attention to that road. No road is more important than the other.
Beyond the construction of the roads at Tuna, the contractor is busily working on drains.
The drainage is to stop flooding from washing the road away again. Our Regional Director of the Ghana Highways Authority, Engineer Laston Damale, briefed the REXEC members on progress of work.
Currently, he has done clearing along the section, about 80% clearing. In fact, after the ministers come in, we all saw the fire. So he's done clearing. He's managed to maintain the existing road.
Are you still sure you do it in 36 months or less?
Honorable Minister, we will do it in the 36 months schedule.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam, Tuna.
Oh, you're still watching JoyNews Prime. We're right back after this quick 10. Please stay with us.
Charlie, what number? The malaria really knocked you down, eh?
Charlie, no joke. Fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu.
You and your fufu. But I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment.
Yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing artemether and lumefantrine. Comes in tablets and suspension for effective treatment of malaria.
Great to have you back.
Thank you. No problem.
Malatu is suitable for adults and children. Manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hi, it's me. The one you poke, sip, and hopefully love. I'm your small reminder that growing up doesn't mean growing out of me. Trends come and go, but you still reach for me. I'm not just a drink, I'm that little sip that reminds you life can still be sweet. Calipo Fruit Juice Drink, making sweet memories. This advert is FDA approved.
Makwanu gede be miakpɔnu yo mielɔ la gado yi la edza egɔme tso mɔxexe ɖe enu dzi. Belele na ame medina sesẽ esi ayi o. Enye belele ŋuɖɔɖɔ kple nu sue wɔwɔ nyuie.
Jofa dadalon ja egome chonya kple wo belele besha beji.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie.
Tastes great.
More Kivo inside. Kivo Gari Soaking Mix. Taste of Ghana.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabedim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100-100-100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from Customer Experience Center.
Discover Willow Lane in Sakumono, one of Ghana's most prime community. These expertly designed 4-bedroom homes feature a private elevator, 4 ensuite bedrooms, private balconies, walk-in closets, and a gourmet kitchen and a maid's quarters. Perfect for families, executives, investors, and retirees. Our community offers a swimming pool, playground, and 3-tier security for your peace of mind. Experience the ultimate in comfort, convenience, and community here at Willow Lane, Sakumon. Visit waylead.org or call 0240-111119 or 0308-040500 to book your tour today. Waylead, your trusted home builder.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number 1, let's bring Baby Car. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it they carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it they make water they flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
Cadbury hot chocolate, crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treat you deserve every day.
Thanks for staying with us. We appreciate your time and company. To other stories now.
Now, the country is stepping up surveillance against Ebola as fresh outbreaks are reported in parts of Africa. Now, the Ghana Health Service says the country is prepared to detect and respond to any suspected case and insists there is no cause for alarm. Health officials today inspected key health and screening facilities in Accra as part of the country's readiness. Adobia Sari reports.
With Ebola cases reported in parts of Africa, the Ghana Health Service says measures are being strengthened to prevent any possible outbreak. A team led by Director General Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoria toured key facilities in Accra to assess the country's preparedness to detect and manage suspected cases. At the Ghana Infectious Disease Center, the team inspected emergency response systems and isolation facilities. Dr. Samuel Akoria expressed confidence in the center's readiness and said similar assessments are underway across the country as part of a broader preparedness exercise.
We are making sure that the generator here is working just in case there is no light. The oxygen plant is working 100%. So we are well covered when it comes to continuum of care, when it comes to these issues. Right now we have the Infectious Disease Center with all the beds necessary, with all the personnel available and the required logistics, including a transport system to take samples when necessary. And we've also activated in all the regions. Fortunately enough, now we have treatment centers in each of the regions, and they've all been activated. They will find means of accommodating patients as at when that becomes necessary.
The inspection also took the team to selected private health facilities as authorities seek closer coordination between public and private healthcare providers in the event of a public health emergency.
As part of our collaboration with the private sector towards the preparedness, not only for the present issues that we are encountering, but for any other outbreak.
At the Accra International Airport, officials said surveillance and screening measures have been intensified at points of entry to help identify and contain any suspected Ebola case. Health authorities insist there's no cause for alarm, maintaining that Ghana remains on high alert and prepared to respond should the virus reach its borders. For JoyNews, I am Adobe Asari.
Health children's kidney specialists are warning of a growing public health emergency as cases of kidney abnormalities among children in Ghana are rising, with illegal mining activities and exposure to toxic heavy metals identified as a major contributing factor. Head of Pediatrics at the University of Ghana Medical Center, Dr. Beatrice Yan, in an interview with my colleague Stephen Mensah, noted that exposure to heavy metals associated with illegal mining activities could be a major contributing factor. There is more in the following report.
Kidney disease occurs when the kidneys can no longer remove waste and excess fluid from the bloodstream effectively. The organs are vital as the body's filtration system, responsible for removing toxins and metabolic waste products, balancing body fluids, and producing essential hormones needed for red blood cell production and bone health. Head of the Pediatric Nephrology Unit at the University of Ghana Medical Center, Dr. Beatrice Nan, says exposure to heavy metals linked to illegal mining activities could be a major contributing factor in the rising cases being recorded among children.
It's not hearsay, it is not rumor mongering. There are clear evidence and data to suggest that there's a direct linkage between kidney disease and these heavy metals. Exposure of pregnant mothers to some of these toxins can cause kidney not to be formed well. And anecdotally, so we are trying to put the statistics together well, but from the top of my head, even in this my clinic, I can say probably now, which didn't used to be before, now about like 40%, I mean, I need to put the statistics right, but we are seeing increasingly kidney anomalies. Yes. Hitherto it used to be one-sided. Just this Wednesday, I was telling my doctors in the clinic, it used to be one-sided. Then you see there's a blockage in the tube that brings the urine down. But now it's two, both sides. I was asking my colleagues in the other facilities, we are going to try and put the figures together. So now what I do is that once I see a baby, granted that our skills of picking up these things have increased and improved, but it's becoming one too many.
But how can parents detect early kidney problems in children?
A male baby who is born should pee and it should come straight and not to dribble, dot. That's an easy thing that we tell mothers. But aside that, once the kidney is failing, it's swelling of the body and then the face. But we don't want to wait to get that. Sometimes, unfortunately, mothers misinterpret that as allergies. Even sometimes some health workers.
With children making up a significant proportion of Ghana's population, health experts are warning of a looming public health emergency as kidney disease cases among children continue to rise across the country.
Well, joining us now on Zoom is convener of the Media Coalition Against Galamsey, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe. Good evening, many thanks for your time. Does this come to you as a surprise?
Well, it does not. You know that this conversation about the impact of illegal mining on our health, especially deformed babies, the challenges with renal diseases, are not surprising. And again, the doctors have told us what the impact of this is on us. And it's sad, but we don't seem to want to deal with the challenge that is confronting us. And the signs are visible out there. You have the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources pushing with NIMOS to be able to get things done. But you go into the various communities, and you'll be expecting the MPs and the DCs to be dealing with some of the challenges, that are confronting us. But again, we're not dealing with it. We, recently petitioned the MPA. They have sent a letter to us. Again, our checked with you, the media people in the community, says that Galamsey, some players are still coming around buying fuel in the tank and all of that. And so all that we receive from the MPA is just the talk, but in terms of dealing with the issue itself, it's not happening. And again, these signs that our medical people are telling us, it's telling us that if we don't do anything about that, this is eating us up. And I'm hoping that all of us would respond to His Excellency's call to us to be able to support this fight.
On that note, how would you rate the government's fight against Galamsey, and what more should be done to prevent this environmental, now health crisis from worsening?
I think you're wrong when you say now health crisis. It's been a health crisis from the beginning. And again, I would not want to even go into rating, but I would want to go into things that we said we're going to do that we have not done. One of the first things that at the meeting in October with His Excellency the President, and the recent meeting that the President had with civil society bodies, it's about publishing water quality reports. You see, because if we're publishing the water quality report, and we know it's not only just the issue of turbidity, which is already not improving, but it's also the presence of heavy metals in this water body, then we'll then be able to tell whether the water that we're even consuming is good enough. The other thing is that we've been told that we're setting up special courts. NIMOS both day out, and they are causing arrest of people, both things. But how many these people have even been prosecuted? How the supposed to are currently being held, accountable? As the Excellency the President, that he knows some of the people are involved. How come we're not dealing these? We know that there was supposed to be a Yoko investigation into some people were supposed to be investigated. We've not had a report of that. Professor report was replete with politically forced people who were involved in Galamsey. From the former week, we have not heard anything done about that. The issues about that themselves were going with theater crime. We're actually licensing champagnes that have been prescribed as illegal and collecting money out of that. Unfortunately, what we got was that now they were going to be trained, they were going to be sensitized, and all of that. So you go into some of these communities. So if you're coming from Ayamfuri to Obuasi, for example, there's an immigration barrier somewhere there. Less than about 50 meters from that, there's somebody parading some of these illegal mining equipment in there. He's written a number on it. Nobody seems to be dealing with it. You go into the Tapa environs and all of that. There are Chinese, enclaves in there who are selling, some of these equipment that are prescribed. How is it that we're not prosecuting them? So there's several things that need to be done. Right. I think for me now, the positive thing that the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources is pushing is the issues around NIMOS. But even with NIMOS, we were promised that they were going to deploy permanent bases in 22 places. And I'm not too sure they have all the funding to be able to get that. So
Absolutely.
There's still a lot that we need to do. But need to recent, reports by our doctors about what it is this is doing to us. I am hoping that it will break our consciences. And all of us, again, even the coalition, civil society, will all respond to His Excellency's call on us. Because we need to save ourselves from this devastation that is eating us up from right in our middle.
Absolutely. I want to thank you so much for your time, Engineer Kenneth Ashigbe, speaking to us there. Many thanks for your time.
Well, let's head now to the Upper East region, where farmers and stakeholders in the agricultural sector in the region are intensifying calls to promote and preserve indigenous seed systems as a sustainable solution to climate change, food insecurity, and the growing dependence on hybrid and genetically modified seeds. The call was made during an engagement on indigenous seed systems and food sovereignty held in Bolgatanga. Albert Sori reports.
Engagement on indigenous seed systems and food sovereignty was organized by CHRAJ Ghana and the Bila Project in collaboration with the Navrongo Bolgatanga Catholic Diocesan Development Organization, Akufo-Addo. The initiative forms part of ongoing efforts to educate farming communities in the Upper East region on the effective use of indigenous seeds and traditional farming knowledge to improve crop yields while reducing dependence on chemical fertilizers, pesticides, and hybrid seeds. Speaking at the engagement, the project director of the Bila project under CHRAJ Ghana, Abena Ofe-Jima, said nearly 80% of farmers in Ghana are smallholder farmers, many of whom continue to struggle with the growing impact of climate change and increasing pressure to adopt adaptation strategies.
We are losing our local and our indigenous seeds due to the influence and the influx of hybrid and foreign seeds. We also know that we're losing our local and indigenous seeds because of climate change and also lack of agricultural policies. Our indigenous seed is also directly related to our indigenous foods. We can talk about some indigenous foods like tubani, sarfo, berehe. A lot of the vegetable soups, they are connected to our indigenous seeds. Not only in terms of the food, but they're also nutritious.
Also speaking at the engagement, Program Director for Livelihood and Agriculture at Akufo-Addo, Dominic Avia Ania, highlighted growing concerns about the use of hybrid seed and the high cost of pesticides and other chemical inputs.
When such a thing happens, farmers will no longer have access to seeds that they themselves require or seeds that are very tolerant to our environment.
The stakeholders' engagement was followed by a farmers' seed fair. Some of the farmers who participated shared experiences on how indigenous seeds and traditional farming practices were helping them adapt to changing weather patterns.
So we are practicing organic farming because when we practice organic farming, soil health is assured. Then it will also protect biodiversity.
Reporting for JoyNews, Albert Sori, Bolgatanga.
Well, this juncture, it's time for me to go. And we'll take a quick breather. And then you're going to have showbiz with Irene.
Of course, Irene will be here shortly. Please stay with us.
Yo.
Now for showbiz, and drum roll please. Irene is in the studio. Hi Irene.
Hi Fosti, how are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling the weather. Can't wait to go home.
You're glowing.
Yes, please.
From head to toe.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah.
What's trending?
All right, so you know showbiz is supposed to get you excited, but today's own is different because we are mourning. Yeah. It's good you are in black. I'm also in black. Yeah. It tells us, the viewers, the mood we are in. Yeah. So we're actually mourning the passing of Ghanaian actress Beverly Afaglo. In fact, she wasn't just an actress, she was a business person. She launched Traffic Shawarma during COVID, and looking at how she's expanded the business now, she has it across the country, different areas. But sadly, she's left us. The husband announced the death, which was yesterday, and management has confirmed that it was as a result of cancer. And in the past, she did an interview with JoyNews where she said the condition is genetic because her father had it and lost his life, and then her sister. And unfortunately, she's also followed. We've done a report highlighting her journey, the impact and of course, reaction from colleagues, friends.
From return of Beyonce to Single Six and Side Chick Gang, she became a face audiences recognize, not just for her beauty, but for her strength and consistency. And then life tested her. She lost her home in a fire. Everything she had built, everything she had owned, changed in an instant.
Then from nowhere, I lose my home. My life is starting all over again.
But even in that moment, she did not fold. She did not disappear into silence. She soldiered on. That strength became part of her story too. Somewhere along that journey, she built something of her own. Traffic Shawarma, a space that was just not business, but rebuilding. A reminder that life can be started again even after loss. From there, she continued her journey in film and in life, balancing both worlds with the same quiet resilience she had always carried. And just when it seemed she had found
All right, so we have Sonnet, RIP to her, and we wish the family be strengthened in this hard time. But anyways, I had a last story coming up where I take you straight to Joy Prime because the hottest rap show, Beats and Bass, is still on, and Saturday wasn't different. There was a head-out between Wonder Kid and also someone from Ashaiman who goes by the name Answer the 11. And guess what? Wonder Kid won at the end of all the rounds and went home with 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Everybody shake your leggy. Shake your leggy. Make sure we shake your leggy. Shake your leggy. Yeah. Need I introduce myself again? Your street Jesus. Tonight the gospel is beaten back, turn up your speakers. Doing this for my 12 disciples and all believers. But we have been doing what's man, I'm undefeated. Yeah.
Hey, Atakomio, that's Rowo. Even with no calculators, that Buowo. Kewasemami, Okila Niche, Basumowo. Yo, just a tip of the iceberg. You know we level all the steeds from the onset. I'm sorry, we don't get room for no soft thing. Kill out the vibe, make we show them real badness. Hey, and I'm honored, I always give you the 100 we came so golden boy, I never got here on the silver platter. I hope I damn on the grave to blow minds. That's an art of great matter for my soul in every sentence. See me behind these bars, how I become a lion kid. With all the stars, it's that time metal. See, I'm shooting for the stars, I rock it. I'm ready to cut across just like a scissors. Drink your hardest flow, I no more beaters. And your rappers, I came to be killers. I came to die for your sins. Call me Jesus. I pass step 1, step 2 is my thing. I break doors, take moves, set the trend. Rap devil, and I've got your possess. Me I be also die. Now where you day cadets. When I kid everyone, I ain't got peppers. I the fire every corner like a tear gas.
So since you said we should give it, why don't you do it? It's beautiful, right?
No, let's make that.
Wonders. Beautiful. I see they never see wonders. Wonders.
Let's increase our mass.
Yo, a quick shout out. Yo, this is beautiful.
I mean, if you have a favorite still on the show, don't forget to come to the studio, cheer him or her up, because Joy Prime is currently running the most hottest rap show.
Thank you so much, Irene. I know somebody that can't wait to be a part of that show.
Oh, okay.
Blessed Soga, he says he wants to come on the show and rap.
Going to be you.
No. and in fact, I'm his manager for the whole event.
Oh, okay.
We're looking forward to
that. Come and cheer him.
Of course. Okay. We have to. And that's how we wrap up the show. Thank you so much for your time and your company. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Fostina Sarfo. I've been doing this with
Irene Edubia Ainen.
Bye.
As the days come and go, there's always shit. Let colleagues explore all the planetary bodies. Our mission is in Uranus to treat hemorrhoids, anal fistula, anal fissure, anal incontinence, hydradenitis suppurativa, using laser ligature for pain-free and speedy recovery. On Uranus Street, Accra, as Main Tuber Hospital and Coloproctology Center. Trust Uranus with us, and we will delight you. Visit Main Tuber Hospital today or call us on 0244 581 541.
Putting on just the fabric isn't really enough. You have to put on your confidence. I chose this Printex fabric because it symbolizes hope and success because of the color and the texture.
Printex.
From Africa to football's biggest stage, you are invited to be a part of it. Feel the rush, the passion of every moment. Don't just watch the game, live the FIFA World Cup experience. With VIP seatings, exclusive lounges, gourmet dining, priority access at every turn, luxury all around you. Seamless, effortless, exceptional. Because this is more than a ticket. This is your FIFA World Cup 2026 experience. Brought to you by Match Experience Hospitality. Call 055 155 1119 or visit matchexphospitality.com to secure your packages or walk into any Absa Bank branch, our official banking partner, for more information and payment.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Prime Business. I am Pius Kojubaka. Economist Professor Patrick Esumeng has described the recent depreciation of the cedi as manageable, citing improved foreign exchange inflows and tighter monetary conditions as factors keeping the currency from increasing out of control. His comment is coming at a time that Ghana cedi has extended its year-to-date loss to the dollar to 10.11% in the interbank market due to demand pressures. But speaking to Joy Business, Professor Esumeng said that the pace of depreciation seen in recent weeks reflects normal seasonal demand for dollars by importers and corporates, rather than a loss of investor confidence?
Yes, I think largely, what the government is saying is what you expect. In this second quarter, you begin, this is a time where foreign businesses have to report their financials and then pay dividends. And that pressure usually comes. And then we've also seen what's happening in connected to the Strait of Hormuz and what's happening to oil prices. It will be, the oil prices that we are seeing will probably be higher than what they would have planned for at the beginning of the year. But so I think in that sense, to the extent that the depreciation is generally under control, it's under control in the sense that this is not like where we see massive swing in a short period of time. That's always what the problem is, where in a 1 month, 2 week period, we see a sharp depreciation, and then sometimes some small correction follows. I think that's where it's problematic. You also have to look at the reserve position. Even though between March and April, if you look at the current economic, the summary of economic and financial data, there's a small dip, but we are still in such a strong position to be able to defend the cedi. Let's not forget that even with this depreciation, the cedi is still trading within the 10.5 and 11.5 band. But within that band, if you move from 10.5 to 11.5, it still looks like substantial depreciation. So I think it's something that is not out of control, and I think the central bank has a reserve to deal with that.
The next Joy Business Roundtable comes off tomorrow on the Joy News channel at 10 a.m. The program will focus on Ghana's extractive industry and the need to reassess the ownership structure of mineral resources in the country. Here's a head of business, Akufo-Addo, speaking ahead of tomorrow's roundtable discussion.
We even had the African Union developing the Africa mining vision, where there was a framework that was guiding African countries on how to make the best out of their mining industry, and also in terms of negotiating with foreign investment and all that. But in Ghana, just recently, and you can actually even trace it to what has happened in the Sahel regions when these Mali, Burkina Faso began to also demand a better benefit from their mineral resources. So there's been this push, and coincidentally, the government's agenda is to have greater Ghanaian participation.
That's local content.
Exactly, in the extractive. So that's where this debate has come up. And fast forward, just recently, there's been a lot of talk. And so that's where we have come from.
All right.
And we further know it's important that we have such a discussion.
And the discussion, as you may be aware, comes off tomorrow at 10 a.m. here on the Joy News channel, as well as on Joy 99.7 FM and across our various social media platforms. So do make a date. Now, as fraud continues to threaten confidence in Ghana's banking sector, the Ghana Association of Banks has launched a nationwide campaign to mobilize banks, security agencies, and the public in a coordinated fight against financial crime. The fight, according to banks, is a committed effort to safeguard trust within the banking sector. More in this report.
The Ghana Association of Banks has launched a nationwide anti-fraud campaign as part of efforts to combat rising fraudulent activities and protect confidence in the country's banking sector. The campaign launch brought together representatives from banks, law enforcement agencies, and government institutions, highlighting a united effort to tackle fraud through collaboration and public awareness. President of the Ghana Association of Banks, Samani, stressed that fraud is gradually eroding trust within the banking sector. According to him, the association is committed to leading a communal fight against fraud.
Ghana's banking sector has transformed remarkably. Digital banking, mobile financial services, and fintech innovation have expanded access and convenience for millions. But these same channels have opened new doors for fraudsters who adapt quickly, exploit vulnerabilities, and target customers through increasingly sophisticated deception. The risk is not just financial loss. It is the steady erosion of public confidence in the institutions our economy depends on. Fraud will not be allowed to undermine the trust Ghanaians place in their banks. Rebuilding trust once lost is slow and costly. Preserving it requires vigilance from customers, institutions, regulators, security services, and the judiciary alike.
He further outlined measures banks are adopting to intensify the fight against fraud.
So banks, first and foremost, are investing in controls, better controls to detect and to prevent the trust. The second is that banks are spending a lot investing in training schemes for their staff, just to dissuade them from pursuing lifestyles that are not profitable. The third is education. We believe that the more we educate customers, the harder it is for the fraudsters to get them. But above all, we're coordinating our activities better. Fraud cannot be fought in silos. It is a collective responsibility, and together with the agency, the security agencies, the judiciary, the intelligence community, the police, we're all coming to, and the regulators, we're all coming together to try and minimize any arbitrage and make it harder for the fraudsters to target any points of weakness.
The campaign is expected to increase public awareness and encourage customers to stay alert, identify fraudulent schemes, and report suspicious activities as part of efforts to build a safer and more secure banking environment.
The head of global markets at Stanbic Bank Ghana, Akufo-Addo, has warned that weakening global investor confidence and tightening liquidity conditions continue to expose emerging markets to capital flight, currency pressures, and heightened financial instability. Speaking at the 64th ACI World Congress in Accra, she cautioned against excessive reliance on offshore portfolio investments amid growing global economic uncertainty.
Emerging markets increasingly exposed to shifting global capital flows, financial analysts warn that tightening global liquidity conditions continue to heighten currency volatility, borrowing costs, and investment risks across developing economies. Speaking during a panel session on the topic, the role of global liquidity in shaping emerging markets, the head of global markets at Stanbic Bank Ghana, Akufo-Addo, noted that when global investor confidence weakens, capital often flows out of emerging markets.
For the local corporates, when we get a sense of some global liquidity seeping in, interestingly, you would see a wait-and-see attitude, and very few would hedge, and most of them will sit on the fence and would be looking to get in at a stronger level. The view being, with the markets not being as deep, it's a high likelihood that as these flows come through, the local currency will strengthen. So you're looking at a position or at a point when you can come in and cover at a level you believe is best. Same with the domestic pension funds. They've also learned that when the foreigners arrive, we definitely do see a compression in the yields. So they too would be waiting to get in at a point, not at the top, but at a point where they think is best for them. So interestingly, when we see flows heading our way, you actually see the locals sitting on the fence and waiting.
She further cautioned against the risks associated with excessive reliance on offshore portfolio investments.
I'm a proponent for resilience through depth, not isolation. So partly, and I'll speak to why. So if you look at on a normal day, a normal trading day, no first signals, no domestic headlines, my typical order book for govies currently in recent times would be filled with counterparties, which are local banks, pension funds, insurance companies, and rightly so in recent times. If you look at the statistics backing it, assets under management for pensions currently at 108 billion cedis, up 26% from last year. So there is death in that liquidity, and that is what you would see now. But we are also mindful that in just exposing that against the fact that currently offshore holdings is sitting somewhere around below 7% of our holdings sit with foreign portfolio investors. But I'll be quick to say that in 2017-18, this was as high as almost 40%. So we've seen as a market how quickly these offshore flows evaporate when confidence cracks. So we are mindful of both.
This is the 4th ACI World Congress hosted by ACI Ghana in partnership with the Bank of Ghana, brought together banking and finance regulators, financial market professionals, fintech providers, financial institutions, industry associations, and thought leaders from more than 60 countries.
And to some other business stories, Toyota Ghana has officially launched the all-new Toyota RAV4 hybrid onto the Ghanaian market. The company says the introduction of the hybrid SUV forms part of efforts to provide environmentally friendly, fuel-efficient and durable vehicles tailored to the needs of Ghanaian drivers. Details in this report.
Toyota Ghana has unveiled the all-new Toyota RAV4 hybrid in Ghana, marking another step in the company's drive towards sustainable and innovative mobility solutions. The launch held at the company's showroom on the Tema motorway brought together automobile enthusiasts, industry stakeholders, and members of the media to witness the unveiling of Toyota's latest hybrid SUV. Head of sales at Toyota Ghana by TTMG, Andrew Lamte, highlighted some of the exceptional features of the vehicle and explain the advantages of its hybrid technology.
This is the new generation Toyota RAV4. Now, the beauty about this particular vehicle is that it comes with the usual internal combustion engine and the hybrid electric vehicle. Now, when we talk about hybrid electric vehicle, it's purely an electric vehicle. By this time, you don't need to have a plug-in. So as we explained in the presentation, if for instance you are moving from here to Tamale, you don't need to have to charge the vehicle, go and think about a place to charge the vehicle. The vehicle is charged by the internal combustion engine that is already in the vehicle. We also talk about the fact that when you are decelerating or you are braking, it has this system of charging the battery. So in the normal vehicle, when you are braking, you are wasting the energy. But when you are braking this time, you are getting the energy back into the battery and stored in the battery that you can use to move the vehicle.
Managing Director of Toyota Ghana by TTMG, Takish Watanabe, described the RAV4 as one of Toyota's most accepted and best-selling models globally. He expressed confidence that the hybrid version would equally appeal to the Ghanaian market.
The RAV4 is one of the most selling and accepted models as Toyota globally. And we have so far sold over 15 million units of RAV4 globally. And that signifies that RAV4 is trusted by the different types of users in many parts of the world. And Ghana is absolutely no exception. We believe RAV4 is the vehicle for Ghana.
The all-new Toyota RAV4 hybrid is expected to strengthen Toyota's competitiveness within Ghana's SUV market while promoting cleaner and more sustainable transportation alternatives.
That's all for Prime Business. I am Pius Kujubaka. Daniel is next with Prime Sports.
Seeing the Prentex fabric, I like the color, texture. I chose this design that suits my body type. It means a lot to me to look good in clothes that I wear. I don't care about nobody's opinion.
Prentex. For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
For the past 15 years, St. Thomas Eye Hospital has been setting the pace in Ghana's eye care landscape. In 2011, we became one of the first hospitals to introduce modern phaco surgeries, commonly called laser cataract surgeries, to Ghana. In 2013, again, we became the first eye hospital to start advanced retina detachment surgeries, macular hole surgeries, and other complex vitreoretinal procedures using the MIVS surgical approach. This year, we have set a new pace in glaucoma care with the launch of our advanced Twin Star SLT-YAG combo laser, giving the glaucoma patients enhanced options in managing their conditions. We are a premier ophthalmic group practice with 11 specialist eye surgeons working together and leveraging technology to advance eye care in Ghana. We have 4 branches in Accra, Tema, and Kumasi. You may call us on 024-686-6580 or visit our website at www.stthomaseyehospital.com. St. Thomas Eye Hospital, providing excellence in eye care.
Ghana sits on gold, oil, lithium, bauxite, and other critical minerals. But who's really getting rich from this natural wealth? Should Ghana take greater control of its resources, or does that alone change anything? But here's the real question. Will more Ghanaian ownership automatically mean more prosperity? Or does the real answer lie in stronger governance, value addition, and accountability? This Tuesday, Joy Business hosts a major national roundtable discussion on the theme to nationalize or transform, rethinking Ghana's approach to mining oil and critical minerals. We're bringing together policymakers, industry leaders, and experts to discuss what really must change for Ghana's wealth to truly transform this nation. Guests include Engineer Kenneth Ashibe, the Ghana Chamber of Mines, Samuel Menu, economist, IEA, Wisdom for Pelampo, Mineral Economist, Minerals Commission, Dr. Edo Ususakodie, Executive Director, Center for Policy Scrutiny, Dr. Frank Boateng, Acting Director, Institute of Mineral Resource Investment and Governance, UMAT, Gideon IEO, Partner, Resources and Industry Expert, Deloitte Africa. Join Joy Business live on Joy FM and JoyNews TV from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesday, 26th May 2026. You can also join on JoyNews YouTube and other social media handles. To nationalize or transform, a national conversation on Ghana's future.
Hello, welcome to Prime Sports with me, Daniel Cranting, and former Black Stars forward David Akam has urged the Black Stars technical team to focus on improving the team's chemistry and collective play ahead of the FIFA World Cup. Ghana have faced criticism for being too individualistic instead of functioning as a cohesive unit ahead of the FIFA World Cup, where Ghana has been drawn in a difficult group alongside England, Croatia and Panama. Akam believes the team can stand a strong chance if their chemistry and teamwork improve.
Difficult, especially the group we are in. For us, we just need to pray for them because we can make the decisions, we can play for them, we can make the selection. So for us, we will support them, and I pray and hope that they give everything they have and they do well for the country, for themselves and for their families.
Daniel Paris said we have individuals, but we don't have a team. That's why the team has struggled in recent times. From what you've seen of these Black Stars in recent years, do we have a team or we have individuals?
It's difficult to answer that because every time I've watched them, it's difficult to see them playing as a team, and it's difficult to see their principles or their tactics that they want to play. It's mostly we have like players that pop up and do something. So at the moment we have a new technical team. Hopefully they will solve the problems that we had before, and they will bring cohesion to the team, and they can play well and win games.
My final question, what must the coach do? He's a new coach. What must he do to be able to win the dressing room?
I think he is a big coach. He's coached a lot of teams, countries, top teams. So I don't think this will be huge for me. For him, he got like experience. So for him, he just needs to be firm, stamp his authority on the team, and do something different from what they have been doing, because what they did before it didn't really work. So do something different from what they did before, and hopefully he can put a solid team together, a team that play as one and trying to win for the country.
Now, Sundown's historic CAF Champions League triumph was defined by two unforgettable moments for Teboho Mokoena and Rowan Williams as they edged Asfar 2-1 on aggregate to lift the trophy. Here are the highlights.
Now it is the Total Energies CAF Champions League that is decided in the Moroccan capital. Royal Armed Forces up against Mamelodi. It's been an incredibly noisy build-up. There's a great sense of expectation, a wonderful crowd here tonight. Suddenly they found their mojo. Two confidence-building attacks from Sundowns. Running down the line, the pass was from Primat. Al-Fali into the middle. High passes Cupido and Lunga. Well, they believe Royal Armed Forces, they should have got a penalty there. Mr. Attan has been sent to the monitor. Now, was he trying to challenge him? Was looking to put his foot down? What will the referee decide? Penalty. The stadium erupts in celebration. So, Primat against Williams. Sends him the wrong way. Royal Armed Forces have the lead. Now a chance to push forward. Primat out wide. Hamudan cuts inside. Can he get the shot away? Does. Williams spills. Has Williams committed a foul? What's the referee say? Card want a penalty. Players want a penalty. Referee says no. Off to the screen he's going to go. There's a little bit of a bobble as he looked to pick up that ball. Spilt it. It looked like a bit of a rugby tackle, but let's see what Mr. Artan says now. Penalty. Armed Forces 2-1 on aggregate, and the top two.
Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes has revealed that he turned down a massive £200 million move to Al Hilal because he still wanted to compete at the highest level of European football. The 2025-26 Premier League assist record breaker explained in an interview that playing in the top competitions mean more to him than financial reward.
Make a decision by myself, because obviously moving around nowadays with two kids has a lot to say, obviously, and more than I don't know, become most richest person in my hometown. I want to live my dreams and pass through the values to my kids that they need to have. And my family is always going to be the number one priority in everything I do, because they followed my dream. My wife, obviously, I know on the other side it looks great life, obviously a lot of money, a lot of good things, but she chose to live my dream with me, and that says a lot about her, because let's say that when she chose to do that, I was 17 years old, going to a club with 1 point, like let's say, how you say, 1,500, you say?
1,500.
Yes. A month in Italy. A lot of uncertainty, let's say. She had her own life. She had her own dreams. And obviously she said, like, I'm going.
And that's all for Prime Sports with me, Daniel Cranting. Thanks for your time.
the Emergency Operations Center in Pantan, scores of disease control officers keenly monitor screens displaying data on infectious diseases recorded across the various regions. With surveillance systems and protocols in place, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba, believes the country is well positioned to deal with emerging infectious diseases.
From today, we need to tighten our belts towards that. As I said, you guys have to read more about the disease so that you don't miss.
But preparedness is not just a statement. In many community and district hospitals, when an infectious disease breaks out, there is nowhere designated to manage the case.
The current practice is that when somebody comes with such a disease, let's say, for instance, tuberculosis, we have a very small room that we put the patient in. And there are times where you have to put another infectious disease patient in the same room, putting that other patient at risk of acquiring the tuberculosis.
But in the districts where these infectious disease centers are needed, contractors have abandoned work, while in other areas where the projects have been completed, the medical equipment required to make them functional has yet to be installed.
The original plan was a 30-bed capacity hospital that was supposed to be fully functional. What I mean by fully functional is that it has everything that it requires: a laboratory unit, X-ray unit, it has beds, admitting facilities, anything. And it was supposed to be ready anytime there's an infectious disease outbreak that we needed to do mass admissions and critical care. Unfortunately, the project started really well, but over the years, the contractors have left the site.
Imagine treating tuberculosis, COVID-19, and Mpox patients in the same ward. Different infections, same air, same risk. That's the reality at the Nalarugu's Baptist Medical Center in the Northeast region. When the first suspected Mpox case arrived in Nalarugu last year, there was no specialized infectious disease center waiting. According to the medical director at Baptist Medical Center, Dr. Isabella Amisi, the facility had to rely on makeshift single yard.
We had to create makeshift rooms to house these people, because if you put them in the general population, you are just going to spread the disease to all the patients on the ward you put them in. So an infectious disease center is usually a specialized unit that can contain the diseases, filter the air in the rooms, and allow the patients to heal and recover without posing a great risk to others. So this is very significant because you are limiting the spread, limiting it through the mode of spread, especially usually the airborne diseases. And then there are also special precautions in these wards to help limit other forms of spread, like contact, spread, and all that. So an infectious disease center is one of the ways in which we can prevent public health crisis. So it's very important in any setting. And given that Baptist Medical Center is a big hospital, the risk is more evident if you put even one person in a ward that takes care of 40 patients at a time. So it's very important to have the center built and as quickly as possible, because we don't know when the next pandemic or epidemic will happen. Recently, we had monkeypox. We had to find a place to put them. We could have kept them in such a ward.
This single room was once meant for tuberculosis alone, but over time, when infectious disease patterns changed, the space did not. Dr. Amisi again.
So when the hospital was established, TB was very predominant. So there was a small isolation unit that was built. It houses just about 4 on the TB side at a time, 4 to 8 patients at a time. So that is where we normally put our patients, but it's not differentiated into more units. They are not individualized rooms. So that means if whatever infectious disease comes, are you going to put them all in the same room? So risking all their lives to exposure of, you came with one disease, maybe I came with meningitis, and then I'm lying close to somebody with TB without the systems that filters the air. I may get the person's TB, but I can also be kept in the general ward because I pose a risk to other patients on the general ward. So that we are still managing with that small isolation center, but we have outgrown the center.
In this documentary, Kwetenate explores why some infectious disease centers have been abandoned, the national framework for citing these facilities, and the standard protocol for managing infectious diseases within a single yard. I have come to meet Dr. Franklin Esiedi-Bequin, a public health physician with long-standing experience in disease surveillance, outbreak preparedness, and response. He believes that managing infectious diseases does not depend solely on the space where a patient is treated. According to him, the standard protocol rests on whether the cases can be properly managed there or require isolation.
No, so first and foremost, you need to be able to ascertain the kind of condition you are managing, and then also whether you have the required human resource to manage it. So, let's say, if you have a disease condition, first you need to confirm it and make a determination. After that, you also need to ask yourself, do you have the human resource to manage that case? Then 2, do you have the required setup in terms of equipment, in terms of management of the case itself. So let's say if you have such a case in a location and you do not have that, the next point of call is that you need to find a way of referral. And clearly now we have our transport by way of ambulances are quite improved in terms of numbers, so we need to refer. So for highly infectious disease conditions, that's where we need to manage them in infectious disease centers. And the prominent one is the one at GIDC. So if we have such a situation, first and foremost, we isolate. You isolate and make a determination whether the case can be managed there or you to refer. So basically, that's the principle in managing infectious disease conditions.
I know this does not fall under your domain, but in an instance whereby, let's say, a facility at a community level has 3 different infectious diseases, let's say tuberculosis, cholera, and let's say mpox, and they only have one ward for managing infectious disease, how should it go, or what should be the standard protocol in this sector?
No, the principle does not change. It's about isolating them. You see, you know, there's some instances that we put up tents. Because the idea is that you don't want the infectious patient to contaminate others. So first you isolate, and then as I say, make a determination what to do. Are you going to refer, or you try and make a makeshift site to manage the case? So that should be the principle. We don't want to mix that pathogen with the general ward. So that should be the principle. And then you decide that I'll manage. Let's say if you have Ebola.
At the Eastern Regional Hospital, the holding bay for infectious diseases is an improvised space created during the COVID-19 period. The hospital's management collapsed several units to create the facility, which has an 11-bed capacity. The medical doctor, Akufo-Addo, says it was designed to meet changing trends in disease management.
These emerging diseases, when we have severe cases, be it from the district or we find them out de novo in our facility, we would hold them in the infectious disease center, which we call the medical annex. That's the name we have given to that one. Post-COVID, management has maintained that ward for that purpose. And a few times where we need to seclude patients because of some known diseases which we think may be infectious. For example, pulmonary tuberculosis, where patient is actively coughing, we do transfer to hold them in that area. But there again, this area has reduced the bed capacity for the hospital because it's not actively used for the purpose for which it was intended. I mean, this is a carved out area, but because we understand that these emerging diseases are now becoming rampant and facilities lower than the regional hospital in the district will depend on our expertise for management. We have decided to dedicate those wards for the management of such cases.
For disease control officers managing different infectious diseases in this makeshift structure, it has become a dilemma. Esther Avoka is the disease control officer.
It's very challenging having just a ward that is serving as a makeshift for infectious diseases. We have various forms of infectious diseases. You cannot mix TB cases with people who are coming in and are being diagnosed with mpox, or cases that may come in whether dengue fever and other infectious diseases. The transmission differs, okay? So we need to have a space, and even the place is not conducive enough. If you see the airflow of this area, it's not so conducive and where it is located. So it is challenging. Moving cases, some out and some in, it defeats the purpose of infection prevention.
So if you have, let's say, 3 different infectious diseases, then what happens?
It means you have to prioritize, all right? You look at the one that is more infectious. So if you are looking at Ebola and you are looking at TB, you prefer to move TB to the ward, which is an airborne condition, and then maybe with nose marks, it is not droplets, it is airborne, it's droplet nuclei. So the infection of TB is less dangerous than if it is a case of Ebola.
The risk of cross-infection to patients and health workers increases significantly. Mrs. Avoka again.
It does, but once you don't have the resources, you have to manage with the little that you have. So currently we are constrained with space, and that's the best that we can do.
This became evident when the region recorded its early cases of mpox. Jennifer Ano Entry is disease control and surveillance officer in the Eastern region. She shares insights on how it was managed.
The person didn't have any history of traveling or any history of, let's say, traveling elsewhere, or he has not traveled even 1 month prior to the onset of the symptoms. So we actually couldn't point out to where the infection was contacted, or we couldn't have traced it. But because he didn't have any travel history, he didn't have history of coming into contact with anyone with similar signs or symptoms.
Can you describe the condition in which your team found this patient?
Okay, so on arrival, we realized the patient was having there was fever, and there were also rashes which were vesicular in nature. When I say vesicular, it means rashes which were in the form of bumps with fluid-filled rash. Yes. And with all over the skin, from the face down to it was scattered all over the body.
Last September, according to dashboard on the command center set up by the Ghana Health Service to monitor infectious diseases, there were 547 epidemic-prone diseases from all 261 districts. Influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory infections were the most reported cases, closely followed by mpox and COVID-19. As of the 18th of January 2026, the country had recorded 12 new cases, bringing the total confirmed cases of mpox to 980.
Since the outbreak began in May 2025, the Ministry of Health, through the Ghana Health Service and with partner support, has activated a coordinated multi-sectorial response aimed at interrupting transmission and protecting public health. For clarity, while 880 cases had been confirmed as at 25th November 2025, the situation update as at 3rd March 2026 is that Ghana has recorded 1,038 confirmed cases and 8 deaths, largely among persons with underlying health conditions. 124 districts across all regions, representing 47.51%, have reported confirmed cases.
But while Nalarigu is yet to record its first case of Mpox, a 15 million Ghana cedis infectious disease treatment center, conceived at the height of COVID-19, has been abandoned. In 2020, the government awarded Macrostructures Limited the contract, 4.5 million cedis. 30% of the total sum was paid upfront. 6 years later, only 10% of the work has been done. When JoyNews visited, the project was still at the foundation level, with no contractor present. The site had been overtaken by overgrown weeds and stagnant water. Dr. Isabella believes such an infectious disease center would have become a game changer in healthcare delivery, as the current facility has outlived its usefulness.
We more or less represent the region when it comes to all of these infectious diseases. So most people come to us for their care, and we can't keep putting them at risk like that. It's very appropriate to find better ways to manage our infectious disease patients. This is not ideal, if I would say.
Assembly member for Zari Fon electoral area, Bukari Fuseni, said they became anxious given the resurgence of other infectious diseases in parts of the country.
People of this community, we are afraid that if in case we have something like that in our jurisdiction, where are we going to send the person to? So we expect that the government should look for the contractor who the contract was awarded to come back to site to continue, so that as and when something of that nature occurs, we can have a place to refer the person to.
Director of Public Health at Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bakwin, explained the national policy on citing of infectious disease centers across the country.
Basically, you need to look at the risk of having a condition in a location, and also look at available resources that exist. So for Ghana, we have, I would say, 3 ecological zones. You have the northern zones, the middle, and the coastal. North is more of the Sahel or the Samani, and it has this unique kind of disease conditions, like meningitis. That is more unique at the northern part of the country. It also has characteristic climate. They have the forest. They see the Ashanti, part of the Eastings, and part of the Bono. Those are the forested regions. They have the coastal, which is where we have the seashore, which is common small cholera. So in making an determination, you need to see what disease patterns are you likely to have.
The Auditor General, in a special report on COVID-19 expenditure between March 2020 and 2022, stated that several efforts by the Ministry of Health to get the contractor to return to the site have proved fruitless. The report recommended that the Chief Director of the Ministry of Health recover the mobilization amount, terminate the contract, and re-award it. Failure to do so would require the director to refund the amount. Efforts to get the Ministry of Health to comment on the matter have proved futile. However, in an RTI request filed by JoyNews, the Auditor General indicated that it has not surcharged the Chief Director. When the news team spoke with the contractor, Yao Dankwa, he blamed delays in payment for their inability to complete the project. He revealed the project has been terminated. Nalarigu is not alone. a 30-bed infectious disease center that was conceived during COVID as part of a national response in the Western region has been abandoned. A public health doctor at the Fiankwanta Hospital, Maxwell Appiah, said his team currently operates a 16-bed facility. When it becomes necessary, they resort to erecting tents outside to contain the situation.
And if we are able to complete it, it's going to help us immediately. It's going to increase our capacity to be able to admit more. Currently, our bed size is 16, and on a normal day, we have infectious disease patients, mainly tuberculosis patients, who are on admission in our facilities. And so, if we get an outbreak that needs more patients, often would have to create spaces out of other places. But when we get a 30-bed hospital, it's certainly going to help us to be able to manage them more effectively.
But infrastructure is only one problem. The facility that used to boast of several health practitioners now has one permanent doctor and 5 nurses. Dr. Maxwell Appiah again.
For some time now, the ministry has not been recruiting as many doctors, nurses, and other health professionals as we wanted. And unfortunately, especially during 2023, 2024, the number of healthcare workers left Ghana. Many nurses, doctors, and others left for greener pastures outside. And as always, some will retire and all that. But unfortunately, the service has not been able to recruit enough people to replace those that we lost through these situations. And therefore, there's a huge human resource gap. We currently do not have as many nurses as we require. We do not have as many doctors as we require. And then our lab, for some time now, the lab units, they are not even recruiting lab staff. And all these things has led to significant shortages in human resource. And therefore, we are not able to attend to the patients the way we would have wanted to. That's a big problem.
So let's look at how many you've lost and how many are currently serving at the infectious disease center.
Currently, I'm the only permanent doctor here. That's the first thing. And then for my nurses, I remember 2023, 2024 was a very bad year for us. Bad year in the sense that starting from October 2023, every month a nurse left to go outside. So from October, the first one went to Canada. November, the next one went to Canada. December, the next one went to the US. January, the next one, just like that.
The stalled 30-bed infectious disease center is already having telling effects on healthcare in the Western region. In a study conducted by researchers, veterinarians, and others on patients with infectious diseases, overcrowding, and health in hospital staff in Finnish, they found out that overcrowded wards contributed to high prevalence of infectious disease among patients. This tends to have adverse effects on the health of hospital workers. For patients, it means delays in accessing services for their family. Alhaji Al-Hassan, a relative of one of the patients receiving care at the facility, said they spent long hours waiting for lab results before doctors proceed with treatment.
I think we send it there for renewable, and at the same time they give us some numbers and then lab tests to go and do the tests.
How long did it take for you to do the labs?
Oh, actually it took about, when they refer you to Fiankwanta, there's a pressure over there. It will take you about 2-3 hours.
In Goso, in the Ahafo region, the infectious disease center stands almost finished. But almost is not enough during an outbreak. When JoyNews visited the holding center there, it wasn't functional. Sensor control panels have not been installed. Hospital authorities say the team X-ray machine, deep freezer, and stove are yet to be supplied. In Zebila, in the Upper East region, the center is completed. but without ventilators or x-ray machines. Medical superintendent at the Zebula Government Hospital, Ayubi Abdul Rahman, said infectious diseases facility has been repurposed to take care of more pressing needs of the hospital.
Since taking over, we've put it to use. Once at the time it was handed over, of course, we were not having any issues of any an infectious disease outbreak, and so the facility obviously cannot be left unused, and so we've put it to good use. We have the neonatal intensive care unit that is occupying a part of the facility. We also have the pediatric unit also using some sections of the facility, and of course we've reserved some areas in the event that we have cases that we need to isolate, and so that's the current situation.
In December 2025, Ethiopia recorded its first ever outbreak of Marburg virus. Though the country has declared an end to the epidemic, the signal that emerging infectious diseases has no boundaries is clear. As Ghana struggles with unfinished centers, however, Director General of Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoreya, insists the country is ready.
It took one case of Ebola, and the entire West Africa was shut down. Many people were COVID. Many people were affected. The entire world went into crisis. And so don't say it's only one case that you might be detecting. It matters a lot. That one case is what is going to shut us down. That one case is what is going to kill you.
The country has emergency operation centers set up at Pantan and Kolebu teaching hospitals. A case management team stands by and is activated when necessary to ensure the country does not engage in firefighting in the event of an outbreak. Irrespective of how the picture unfolds, Ghana sits at crossroads of emerging infectious diseases, with bricks, equipment undelivered, and critical infectious disease centers abandoned. The nation's resolve could be tested again, because when the next outbreak comes, the question will not be whether Ghana was warned, but whether leadership acted decisively. For JoyNews, this has been Kwete Nati.
Did you know that some videos circulating on social media falsely claiming to be from JoyNews and advertising some drugs are fakes? These fake videos advertise unapproved medicines using deep fakes of our presenters to endorse these medicines. Here's one example.
Blood pressure exceeds 120/80, internal organs are affected, and a stroke occurs. A famous doctor has developed a drug that prevents high blood pressure.
You can learn to spot these fake videos. Here's how. The first sign. Notice how the lips of the anchor do not exactly match the words being spoken. Also, pay attention to the JoyNews logo in the bottom left corner. With a real JoyNews logo, the globe rotates. If you spot a static logo, it is an indication the video you're watching is fake. Doctored videos often have slight inconsistencies. It could be in the audio quality, visual glitches, or even lighting. Listen to this audio carefully.
Johnson Haynes will talk about a drug from the USA.
You will notice that this is computer generated and lacks the natural pauses and rhythms of a human voice. You will notice something irregular at the edge of the head and the background. It is because the image has most likely been superimposed on that background. Another indication that this video is fake. Finally, always check who is posting the video. In this instance, the post is from a group calling itself Citizens for a Healthy Nation. When you click on the link, it tells you they are into advertising and marketing based in South Africa. This should tell you it is not from JoyNews. In another instance, the post is by an individual who describes himself as Paisano. But again, the page is labeled as advertising and marketing with a number that is reported to originate from the Dominican Republic and an 809 area code that has been associated with scams in the past. This is another indication the video is fake and not from JoyNews. Now that is how you spot the fake. So if something feels off, it probably is. Trust your instincts and double check before sharing or acting on any information. Or better still, you can report to the police or the FDA or come to our offices at JoyNews to verify any advertisement.
I am in Athalia Kwanzaa in Takrade, and this is JoyNews. Independent, fearless, credible.
And tonight, I actually set record becoming the first die-hard Chelsea fan to be wearing a Tottenham Hotspur jersey. I mean, all because of Fentio, Tahir Fentio, and then also because to tell you that Tottenham Hotspur actually, survived that relegation test. They will be in the Premier League come next season. But the season has ended, but has also not ended on the UEFA front, because this coming Saturday is the Hit FM Rep Your Jersey, and the entire multimedia group is inviting you. Of course, Tottenham Hotspur will not be there. I hope Chelsea will be there anyway, but we are not there. But it will be a clash between Arsenal, the Premier League champions, and Paris Saint-Germain, the Ligue 1 champions. They will be having a clash on Saturday, 4 p.m. And we have the Joy News and also Hits FM Rep Your Jersey, which will start at 10 a.m. till Mama calls. In fact, the game is at 4, but it will be at the Aviation Social Center. And that place is big, so you can come with the kids. We are inviting you for this special, event, the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey. And I don't know which team you'll be supporting anyway, but definitely I'm not going to support Tottenham Hotspur. I'm just wearing this just to tell you that they survive relegation. But tonight, an important conversation about an issue that we all know. We saw that conversation on social media, especially on X. And a lot of people started sending me the NITA bill and asking me questions. What will become of that young man who just started, a startup in IT and is hoping that he could elevate? And people have read this bill and are asking questions. That is why it is important. It has made its way to PM Express, and we've actually assembled the best, brains in this country to help you break this down. And all the questions you'll be answering, you'll be actually asking, will be answered on